Our speakers and experts to join me on the panel, together with Etienne, please, also the other expert that presented our AMETHyST project today. Of course, we are very curious to learn more about your projects and to take away a lot of important notes that we have learned from you today. While I was listening also to the presentations, some questions came up, and I would like to start the question round, and later on, of course, I would like to give everybody here in the room the possibility to ask questions, because there are a lot of information were already given, but still there are a lot of curiosities from our side. Maria, if I can start with you. You said that you are also looking into, or that you are operating retrofitting activities. Within the AMETHyST project, we very often also talk about retrofitting activities, for example, for bus fleets. So I would like to know who are your customers, basically, and what are your experiences made within retrofitting projects?
Yeah, so the main aspect of retrofitting is that, for example, our customers are industry customers, or also community services, and if they are make an investment for gas engine now, they want to ensure that they have a flexibility for the future. So at the moment, hydrogen, we have a lot of customers which are interested at hydrogen, but they are not 100% sure. But if you can tell them that if you buy this engine, you can maybe change in 5 years to hydrogen, they feel better. And so that's more or less the reason. So that you have the flexibility also to translate the energy supply for the customer.
Okay, thanks a lot. Coming back also to the customers that you have, can you locate them for us? Where are they based? Are they mostly Austrian customers from the Alpine Arc, Europe and beyond?
No, our customers are around the world. So yeah, Asia, Germany, Brazil, it's different customers. So we have customers, a lot of customers use our engines with biogas. So they have already green gas, wood gas, biogas, and also, yeah, Stadtwerke. Yeah, but different customers and all over the world, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to stay with your case also, because you were presenting very, very briefly also the approval procedures. Within the AMETHyST project, we look also into the barriers that we encounter when rolling out projects. Can you give us some more insights also about the procedure that you were running through and the complexity of getting it right? Let's say, where do you met most difficulties, with which regulations, and how did you overcome them? Because you said it is all still a testing field, expertise is missing, and you learn together with the authorities step by step to approve these kind of projects and to go on with the procedures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A very good question about this. So I can start like from technical aspect, regulation aspect, and the money aspect. So how you can see, we have like a project Power to X Kufstein, the sector coupling project. We have there the mobility, the industry, and the gas grid injection. And on this side, we learn a lot about the technical things for like electrolysis, like the production of hydrogen by alkaline is 100 years old. So this technical is new. But the new technology, like the PEM, it's not like well developed like since the last 5 or 7 years. So they're like the scaling up now. So if you have not a guarantee of this technical works, but we are focused on this technical because it's more for by energy supplying. So we can like do like more supply by electricity in a time way, like on off. So this technical is more perfectly for the energy systems before. So this is the next reason we have to handle about where is the energy coming from and when is the energy coming. So this using the sector coupling system, we are using it about the new energy systems and about the volatile systems, about the photovoltaic, the wind and the changing of the energy, what is like now produced meanwhile. So these all things we have handled. Then the regulation things about, for example, in Kufstein we have a hydrogen fueling station. There is no regulation in Austria meanwhile that you have like an automatic refueling station. So you need somebody to refuel your car. But for in the money way, if you would have an operational plant with less capex and opex costs, you need like this regulations that the people can filling his car by his own. So these are all regulations, and furthermore we need, and then regulations of the European level. So we have to focus the last 3 years on the RED and the RED 2 delegated act as a renewable energy directive, or the RED 3. So if you have to always focus where is the source, like the electricity coming from, where you bring it, so that you have all the benefits. So if you're thinking about development some projects, think the technical things are well done now, but always the things with the regulations are also new, so have a focus on this. And now coming to Jenbach, we have there like the same technical thing like a PEM electrolysis, the storage and the line, but there we have a regulation and some stakeholders that is a new field as well. Like for example, stakeholder, the train, like the ÖBB. There's a new field for ÖBB that we go under a line of a train. So these are, if you start a project in hydrogen, you will step on a new field and think about that. And ask, what can I give you?
Okay. Thanks for these insights. And ask. To whom do you ask the questions, or who asks the questions to the right person? I guess HyPA comes in here. I would like to dive into your position within the region. So as I understood, HyPA is basically working also hand in hand with the ministries on the national level for economy and the environment. So you are basically the one who is talking about the barriers that are existing for the promotion and for the implementation on regional and local levels. And then you meet the ministries basically to discuss how these barriers can be overcome. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the output so far? How long does it take to have reviewing processes going on? How fast, how quick is it in order to have reviewing processes of laws that are prohibiting, for example, also the rollout of hydrogen?
Oh, that's a very hard question to answer, actually. I think there's a lot of things happening right now, as well as all the great project we've heard about. So I think in the first step, we need expertise and we need deeper insights from these projects, so that we have a reference to how things are going and the new fields we are stepping on, as Daniel said. So in the first step, we need the expertise from ongoing projects, from startup projects, and then we have a base for the federal ministries to say, okay, this law fits here, this law fits there, and this is how we can make the process easier for companies and for even regions to set up their hydrogen production plans. So about how long it takes, yeah, pretty hard question to answer, because it's a process and it goes step by step. And if we get very quick, very good insight, it will get faster. It will have faster results from the political basis. And yeah, if we have some barriers we have to overcome, it takes longer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. I think it's also difficult to answer this question due to the fact that you're still rolling out projects, and you will always have new barriers basically and regulations that have to be reviewed and that have to be streamlined in order also to better be in line with the needs of implementation projects for hydrogen. Thank you very much. In this context, I would also like to go back to a question that I came up with while I was listening also to your presentation. You said it is going to be difficult to roll out all the hydrogen projects, of course, because you have also very big projects in Tyrol, and there's the question mark of the renewable energy resources that will have to be also rolled out at the same time. And this is a general question I would like to ask to the panel, because we have different actors with a lot of expertise in this field. How do you integrate the needs of your hydrogen projects into the energy planning on regional levels? On the one hand, do you check them? Do you monitor them? How does this project work? On the one hand, maybe TIVAC, TINEXT could answer this question, but also you, maybe you also have a lot of expertise in this field. Thank you.
Yeah, what I say, like the thing is about the green hydrogen, or by the way, the renewable green hydrogen, we need like renewable energy systems, and TIVAC is like planning a lot of in this way. So we are planning new hydro power plants, and we are refitting hydropower plants, but we also have a focus on the photovoltaic systems. Wind is not so in the focus actually, but more for photovoltaic. And so we are and the energy system is not a Tyrol system; it's a Europe system. So Tyrol is connected to Austria. Austria is connected to Europe, by the way, and the electricity goes from one side to another side. So this is like the whole systems, and yeah. So we need a lot of more renewable to like change the system.
Nikolaus, can I also ask you to give your impression?
Well, one important fact there is that we, as you stated out, we are changing the system to renewable energies, and that means that they are fluctuating. So we have energy when the sun shines, when the wind blows, when the water is there. We have a lot of energy, especially in summer times. We have problems in winter. We have the possibility to cope with that there is more wind in winter times, there is more sun in summer times, but there is the issue that the grid is not following what is on the production side. And so, as Daniel pointed out, it's important that we have these power to hydrogen facilities, that they can work beneficially for the grid, so that they take out power when it is available, especially in these times. And this was also the last project I showed, this 50 megawatt sandbox plant. Actually, there, especially in the east of Austria, there is capacity for 2 gigawatts of electrolysis. You could do that today, and there are slots when you have this energy available and you cannot transport it off. So this is what was the outcome of this project. So we have a lot of energy available already that cannot be used, and that's why hydrogen is also introduced, to make use of this energy and couple the different sectors that Daniel pointed out. And regarding the question, will we have the energy? This was also discussed yesterday in the Hydrogen Association Viva. Everything points to yes, we will have it. So if you see on the photovoltaics, or look at the photovoltaics market, what the dynamics there are, how the prices drop. So the prices for solar panels dropped 30% this year. There's a massive overproduction, and all this now waits. We have in Rotterdam, we have the yearly capacity that is newly built for photovoltaics is in stock in Rotterdam at the moment. So these dynamics are so high now that these new power plants, we will have a lot of energy, but actually not at a time that we need it. And this is why hydrogen is so important for the future. Not now, not in this text now, but for the future, it's really important to get this going.
Thank you for the statement. Also, yesterday we also had an internal workshop of the AMETHyST project partners, and basically one of the information that came up was that there is a surplus of hydrogen in Tyrol at the moment. Is this correct? And how do you basically manage this surplus in the region? Do you look for export opportunities? Also, do you work together with other regions within Austria? And then also, especially regarding other regions that are working tightly with in hydrogen, such as in Switzerland, there are quite some cantons that are also rolling out efficiently projects. And I would like to know what is happening in this field here. Thank you.
Maybe. Well, I wouldn't say we have a surplus. When we started in 2014, we didn't have any green hydrogen. 2016 was the first step towards making a first green hydrogen plant within the Demo for Grid project. This is now operational after heavy delays. So this was delayed by years. It's now, the project ended now, the electrolyzer is there. Still some issues are with this project in terms of grid grid balancing services. And now we have one electrolyzer. Okay, some say it's big, some say it's really small. To what we need for the future, it's really, really small. It's about 3 megawatts. And on the other hand, when you start with these projects, you don't have any demand. So you just have to create the hydrogen demand. Within this Emprise case, we did it hand by hand. In 2017-18, we were looking for getting hydrogen trucks. We called all over Europe. No one wanted to build a truck, and then this journey began. Today, we have one truck. So, and this was really a developing process. We had to engage a development process with the companies, with the OEMs. And this hydrogen truck we now have, it's more or less a prototype. It's not a product. You can buy like any other truck. And now we are at the stage to making 2 out of 1, right? So this is the process, and then 4, and then so on, to switch all 43 trucks. If we have switched at Emprise all trucks, there is no surplus. But of course now we have some capacities free, since the truck domain is not developing as fast as anticipated, and also the costs for this transformation are enormous. All these vehicles, they cost 4 to 5 times more than a conventional truck. Who should afford that? It's really a big issue, but we are on the way there. And actually, to come to a final answer for your question, the thing now is, which is quite funny, we now actually have capacity to make green hydrogen. And first there was no demand, but since now the plant is operational, demand came. I would just really say we didn't anticipate it, but really people came and said, hey, we have demand for green hydrogen in Bavaria, but also in South Tyrol, and now we can use this plant to support them with our multi-element gas containers, with our small hydrogen logistics. But this was something that was not anticipated in the realization of the project. Actually, we built this to get high availability with the other 3 projects, Zillertalbahn and TIVAC. That's why we have this logistics system. And this is also something we really can learn from this process. You cannot anticipate everything. And the main issue is, when you start a project, you have no demand. You have to, on the other hand, really develop the demand yourself. And you have a high risk in the beginning, a high technological risk, but also financial risk, because you really don't know, will it work? We see from the strategy that it really must work, because in the end there is no alternative. But for a company to make that decision to say, okay, I'm investing now 5 million, 10 million, 20 million euros, and I don't know if I ever get it back, that's where we are at the moment. And there are so many uncertainties. We all have high risks, and all, as we sit here, we have taken high risks already, also for the small companies and the big companies. Yeah, also this is the key point now.
This is something very interesting that you've just said, like how did the process work in general when we are talking about hydrogen and the rollout of projects. We are talking about the chicken and egg problem. So what comes first, you know, the supply or the request, or, you know, do you have to start the production, as you said, and then the request will show up anyhow. And this was an interesting learning, and it is something also that occur in other regions. Yesterday, just to give you an insight also what we are discussing in the AMETHyST project, we have also hydrogen producers that are looking for companies or also in general enterprises that would like to join and use the green hydrogen that is being produced. But there are, of course, barriers still ongoing in other region regarding the rollout and the connecting of the dots, let's say. And here I wanted to ask you also again about the economic system that lays behind in the hydrogen economy of Tyrol. Can you give us more insights about the financing? Of course, we know there are also private enterprises such as AMETHyST that are having an genuine interest in greening their enterprise, in greening their fleet also. And they put in their private money, which is a high private risk also. But of course, it is also a regional political strategy. So we would like also to understand how projects are financed, in which way on regional and national levels. If you could give us some insights regarding that, I would be very happy.
Well, on regional level, so to say, there is no financing available, and there has not been a substantial financing for all of these projects. One must point out, actually, that's something we can work on in the future, but all these projects have basically no regional funding, except HyPA. There is some money went there, but it's compared to what is invested, it's really, really small. The main fundings come from the European Union for the electrolyzer at AMETHyST, and also national fundings from the Climate and Energy Fund. But in the end, the big parts always have to be taken by the companies, and also with all the fundings we pull together. That's also something we were working now for the last 10 years nearly. It's not a business case as of now. Of course, it is a business case of the future that is quite clear to us, I would say, since we are working in the future. Not clear for every decision maker in every company, but at the moment it's really, really hard also to keep these projects where the investment now is done, like at AMETHyST, even alive. Because as you can say, if someone asks, there is already the rumor going on, oh, it doesn't rent, or it's not feasible economically. And well, of course it is not when you anticipate a plant for 40 trucks, 43. You have all that in place. You have a refueling station, the storage that can do that in place, and you have one truck that costs 5 times as much as a diesel truck. Of course, that's not economically feasible. But in the end, when the full system is running, then it will be feasible. And in the meantime, as I already said before, green hydrogen is needed, so we have even an intermediate business case. We can sell this green hydrogen even at quite high prices at the moment, because there is already demand no one knew of. But it's extremely hard, and the economical risk is extremely high. And now the risk is that everything that is there is shut down tomorrow because someone cannot afford it anymore. This begins with the hydrogen refueling station for the passenger cars from OMV. and ends with the project of Emprise because they maybe have other issues. At the moment, we are really trying to keep that running until we come to the point that we have economical feasibility. And this is also hindering the other projects, Zillertalbahn and PTX Kufstein, that at the moment, this decision to really say, okay, we jump now, we invest, but we never know if we get it back, this is a huge problem.
By the way, for the financial system, for your business case, so I always say about the regulation things more. So if you see like PTX Kufstein, we started in this project with 2018, and the first thing we want to do a direct line from the plant who produced the electricity to the hydrogen power plant. But now the regulation of the EU, the RED II Delegated Act, says for the mobility, if you use like existing renewable plant, like electricity plant, and after some times, it's not a green hydrogen. So if you have to, in a business case, like these sources for electricity, but after 3 years, the regulations changing everything, your business case is totally changed. So this is always what I can give you, is like have a focus on the regulations and what changes or something what not really finalized, fixed it, what's happening on your business cases. So that's what I can give you in the finance aspect. And by the way, the hydrogen producing is the most thorough. What you need is electricity. So that's, and what this Nikolaus was saying, like to build a facility, it's like putting one-time money, but you have to run it. And if you run it and you not make money, or your money, like you get deeper and deeper and deeper, so you have to focus on this.
Maria, would you also like to say something about the business case?
Yeah, so about the business case, maybe I can say some questions, or some not questions, statement. Yeah, we are industry, and so the operational costs with hydrogen are much higher than actually with natural gas. So there's a financial risk, and every year we are using hydrogen instead of natural gas. It's a minus for the company, but and then on the other side, for the investment itself, it was a very huge challenge for the project team and myself as the project leader to get the investment through the management decision, because the manager read at the newspaper, okay, hydrogen price should be 1 or 2 euros per kilogram at the future, and we made the whole business case and come to a different price. And so that was a lot of work to confront with the real investment and the real prices, instead of the, okay, what's in the media, and some manager read in the morning at the newspaper, and maybe they're not have this deep insight of the investment itself. And now actually we had the business case itself, it's very complex, and we are calculating with CO2 price increase and natural gas price increase, but also the last years the electricity price, the increase of the electricity price itself, it was a huge struggle for our project. And actually it's always at the moment, it's at the moment a high risk, but we are going forward, but it's a high risk. And the funding, we have natural funding, but it's not so high for a company that you can say, okay, it's everything can bait with funding. So it's about 30 to 40% percentage of funding from natural money, but it's, if you are in the funding game, you know that's not so a high percentage, that it's with hydrogen it's higher than with other technologies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks you also for this insight. We all well understood that, of course, putting money into hydrogen is a long-term commitment, and there are a lot of external factors that we are not yet really clear about how they will influence the entire process. This comes from the legislatory process on the one hand, the economy on the other, request and so on, that has to be artificially created also by, let's say, by regulations themselves. Now I move to you. We have a lot of curious people also here today, and I would like to invite the listeners to get active and to ask their questions. I pass around the microphone. You will maybe help me. There's a first question from Matteo. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Matteo Mazzolini from the Energy Agency of Friuli Venezia Giulia. Concerning this last point, financing hydrogen business, I would like to ask if you said that you are small companies basically involved in this business. And I would like to know if it's possible, if these financial resources are coming from private equity belonging to the company, or if it's debt money coming from banks. So the banks are participating to this risk or not here in Tyrol? Thank you.
About the findings about the money. So like if you from the project side, if you would like go in a project, you're looking for some fundings. So we get some funding for some hours, some funding for the invest. But so you need also money from another side. But it's more about Nikolaus, your question about the small companies. So TIWAG is a bigger company, so we have like something behind, but it's more about the business case and something about that. So about more about the small companies. To give the questions to you, Nikolaus.
So, for example, we have founded a small company called Juve, Jules Verne Automotion GmbH, where we now want to purchase 6 hydrogen electric trucks. At the moment we have one. This one we rent to Emprise. And there we have the issue with the financing. We also have in place now a quite nice funding for these trucks. It's the ENIN funding, which takes 80% of the more cost. Nevertheless, if it's 5 to 6 times the price, the 20% are quite a lot. And for example, here we also need banks to make some intermediate financing, but this turned out to be extremely painful. And we are still looking to solve this issue. So actually, the bank sector is, if you say you want to purchase a hydrogen truck with all the technological risks involved, at the moment you don't find anyone to do that or to finance that. And this is just an example for an actual problem we are dealing with right now. And we are now searching also for other possibilities to circumvent this issue, for example.
Further questions from the people that are listening here in the room? Okay, thank you. One question.
Hello, good morning. Also a short question to the AMETHyST project. You have defined a few megawatt of electrolyzers with PEM, I understood. Did you already the sourcing, and how do you use the excess power? So are you running in a constant way, or are you, let's say, how many hours a year you are planning to run the electrolyzer?
So the electrolyzer and the compressor as long lead items are already ordered, and they are will deliver 2024, the first half of next year, and the operational hours are about 5,000 hours per year, but it's a flexible operation. So the electricity for the electrolyzer is coming from the grid, And so we want to run the electrolyzer whenever the grid is needed, or when the electricity price is low. So about 4,000 operational hours.
Yeah. And so there's the cooperation between INNIO and TIVAC and TINEXT. So we are at TIVAC, we have like the experience since years to how to put the storage up and down, like from the hydro. So we can like handle it with the electricity, like with the prices, and so there's the cooperation about that's why we are TINEXT and TIVAC are like in the operation, and so and this is like a thing what you have to do about the pricing of later of the operation of a plant, when you will make the hydrogen and when you have to deliver it, like the customer side. And the thing is on INNIO, like on the Jenbach project, we have one customer, and this customer really know when he needs the hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen fueling station with cars, trucks, and something else, there is like quite harder to know when they are coming, when they need the things, and with industrial things. So this is like a hard dealing. What you have when you're thinking about do it with trucks and cars, the things, or buses, by the way. So the amount and when it's need and how can you handle it. That's what I can give you.
Thank you. More questions? Etienne.
Yeah, thank you. Just to come back on, Maren said that yesterday we had our discussion in our pilot, and we could see that more or less the production is quite okay, producing hydrogen through renewable energy directly through the grid. I don't say that it's already happening on the field, but that's not. It doesn't look to be the big problem. The big problem is the demand, and so we try to work with public and also private users to have this complementarity of users. But how do you see the role of local public authorities in driving this market, in rising the demand by public buses, by public coaches, by whatever train also?
Well, we have one perfect example for that, the Zillertalbahn. There we have a project, a train project, with a first demand and quite high demand. So we need, the train would need about, or the trains, 4 trains in operation all day, half an hour going in and out the valley, they would need about 800 kilograms of hydrogen every day, with a peak to more than 1 ton in winter and summer times. And so this is actually a predestinated project to create demand. But now we have really a public discussion going on about this project and more costs for the hydrogen and so on. And it's now about what is the cheapest solution to change this train in the future. And if we see it from that point, well, we shouldn't have started it in the beginning, because the cheapest solution, well, is something you know well, that worked for 100 years and that you simply can buy, that most probably will be the cheapest solution in anything. Although the hydrogen solution for this specific case is the cheapest one we have with all the applications. Trucks, 5 to 6 times. So hydrogen trucks, 7 to 800,000 euro per unit. Hydrogen bus, 7 to 800,000 euro per unit, going up to 1 million if you have a longer bus. And with the train, depends on who is calculating. Prices are not even twice as much. So some people say they're quite similar. Some say they're maybe 1.5, 1.6, factor 1.6. But nevertheless, it's quite a cheap project in that regard. But the public discussion now is that if we do this hydrogen train, which would be the cheapest solution to get a stable demand, is a waste of public money, or is really in the media it says we burn public money. So actually now the politics has to understand what is going on there and then make the decision. Of course, hydrogen will, in the moment, it's more expensive. That's quite simple. But if we don't invest in this more expensive, we won't have any demand. It's also makes sense.
Yeah, I can say, like, if you talk about the stakeholder, like the customer side, you have always about the question is what is the force, why they do need the hydrogen, or why would they using something. Like we can see INNIO, they have this gas engineers, they want to change it, they have customers behind, and they have multiplicators behind that. You need multiplicators. And if you are talking about the public transport systems, like go back to mobility, there is actually not the force that you go on scaling up on a multiplicator, because there is not regulation at the moment. They're forcing, they have to change the public transport. That's a Clean Vehicle Directive, we know it. But if you go deep in the Clean Vehicle Directive, you will see it's just for buses and public transport. It's just for buses. There are people sitting and standing. But if you have a overland public system, the Clean Vehicle is actually not supplies these things. And if you talk about this, you think about, oh, public is cool, we have the Clean Vehicle Directive, so they have to change the buses of another system, but they don't have to change all buses, and then you have to think about which bus is actually the best thing we can change it. So this the same on the car and the truck discussions. This is the mobility system. But if you have the industry behind, there are the multiplicators. So what we can see now, actually now with the emission certification things, the industry is going more and more, and after the chain now, the EU is saying their companies have to figure more of the chain before. So these are mostly multiplicators in the public transport systems, in the private transport systems. It's actually like the pricing like higher than using, and that's the reason. So, and if you think about some projects, always think about who is forcing, who needs the thing.
Exactly, and now we are back with the chicken and the egg question we were before. And as a moderator, exactly, I also have to be the timekeeper. I will accept one more question from you, and afterwards I would kindly invite you to move the questions to the coffee break. Okay, everybody is prepared.
One more. Yes. Yeah, because with respect to the last statement you made, I have the feeling that there should be an obligation from governments to move towards this direction. Otherwise, it will be a very slow process. Do you agree with this?
I agree with this, because you have like small projects now. These are small things. We have like 1 megawatt things. I was saying about scaling up. So, but if you make it big, you just have like follow the money a little bit. You know, somebody has to pay for it, and that's if you're going big. And the small things are demo projects. We are saying here this is just demo projects. By the way, in Kufstein, if you build the 5 megawatt, we can fill up 50 trucks per day. That's nothing in this 10T corridor. So you have to build up and more. And then if somebody if the system has to going on the fly, somebody has to pay it and the money. And if you like have a view on the money price for electricity and the fuel and which fuels you can use, it's not the same. So we need the regulations or the laws that it's coming to on this way if we want to. That's all the questions. If you want to change the system, we want to have a green economy. Yeah, that's if you're going big, it's a money thing.
Maybe the last project I showed you, Power to Gas for Austria. This is a sandbox project to really make, and this depends on a law that is not in this extent there now. The idea or the focus is really to make electrolysis a grid component, and therefore it's also, also its implementation and maintenance is then covered by the grid fees, and it is then available to the market, to anyone to really book it and say, okay, I need electrolyzer capacity tomorrow at 10 until 2 o'clock, and I operate, and I then get this hydrogen coming out of it. And this is something where we at the moment see this project is already 2 years in the past now, and this regulation is not moving forward. But it is extremely important that this is coming, because we have here a potential for 2 gigawatt electrolysis, and also other projects in Eastern Austria, like the hydrogen collector, that depend on this change of law. But as we here in Austria, the new or votings are next year, so at the moment not a lot is happening.
And one thing more, like we can see at the European level, there are laws are coming now. So we're saying the RED 2 Delegated Act, the RED 3, the alternative fuel infrastructure, the clean vehicle, they are now like fixed or like published. But now we need the time, or needs time to go in like national law, and it needs time that it comes to the customers or to the suppliers. So actually, I think the European is now in a good way to make this ecosystem on the hydrogen kind of more and more, and the national things by founding, but it needs time, and that we see it, but it's not actually now. We can say, okay, it's for the big things. For demonstrations, we have to do it, definitely. What I'm saying, we have to do these things that we need. Where are the things we have to know and to think about it?
Okay, thanks a lot.
So it's still in the future to roll it out.
Exactly. This is still the future of rolling out, and I would also talk about the very short future, what is happening in our AMETHyST project and what have we learned today. Etienne, maybe since we have only 2 more minutes, can you give me the 3 most important insights, or the insights that you have really learned, that are your takeaway lessons for today before we close this session? Thank you.
Thank you, Maren, and thank you to all. Maybe the first one is the first insight is that we have to experiment, we have to test, and in this first testing phase, they are quite risky in terms of investment, and we need to find some partners that take this risk. And I think that's quite impressive that how some of your companies could really be involved. The second one is to open the application to open the hydrogen to many applications. You said services to the grid, it's important. For industrial purpose, it's important. For mobility, it's important. And it's by mixing all these users that maybe we try to reach the good capacity to lower the price of hydrogen and to make this value chain, let's say, starting and being going far from the experimentation and to the, let's say, daily users. Okay, it's going to take time. And the third one, we all need to work together, I think, and really to find the complementarity between public and private users. I think that's quite important if we want to reach the maturity of this of the hydrogen.
Thanks a lot, Etienne. I think we will also have some reflection within the AMETHyST project of, about what we've heard today. I would especially thank you, experts, that you were here on this panel, also to discuss issues maybe that are not so comfortable sometimes to talk about, but to be very honest also about the situation. It is very important that we have this eye-to-eye exchange between experts and stakeholders that are in the position of implementing such projects. I invite all of you now also to join the experts, to have a coffee break together and discuss openly, continue the conversation there. But before I close, I would like to thank also my dear colleague Etienne on the one hand, who was on my side today in keeping all the important notes and learnings for our project. I would also like to thank the Standort Agentur Tyrol that have accompanied us in organizing this event. Thank you very much. And I would like to ask our project partners from Bavaria also in moving these meetings and events also online. So thank you very much for this expertise that you always provide us. And now invite you for a coffee break. And I kindly ask you if you are joining our field trip, and I hope everybody will join and get on the bus. Please be on time. We will start at 11. So if you can be there at 10:55, that would be great, so that we can start on time, and we'll be back at about 1:15, 1:30 in the city center of Innsbruck to have a joint lunch. Thank you very much.